So I can see you're in front of the White House, Ronnie.
Definitely, I'm in front of the White House. The only thing is, I'm like 6,000 miles away, but I'm still in
Are
front
you
of.
a journalist for the Volkische Beobachter?
Ah, ja, zeker.
Der Stürmer?
Let's see. I forgot to insert one little thing, but hey, that's.
Oh, Ronnie.
Yeah, well, I didn't really think of it, only just now, so I will call it browser 3. Okay, which I have to do so that you guys can see the live results a little bit better. If, of course, that stupid site will load in anyway, which of course it never does. Still thinks should pick this up. It doesn't. Stupid website, seriously? Oh, okay. It doesn't pick up the countdown. Alright, fine. Yay. But how are you doing, Mr. Cold Killer? Or Mr. Mark, whatever. Or Mr.
I'm doing very fine.
President.
As you can see, I'm right in Washington, where the heat is at the moment.
Very good.
Yes, I took a flight today, and
Flight, yes.
now I'm in front of the White House. I'm waving to President Trump. Hello.
So, actually, it's the election between a giant douche versus
And a third sandwich.
third sandwich. Is very important, people. You have to
Yes.
vote. So,
have to
of
vote.
course, the giant douche is Mr. Trump. Definitely. And our third sandwich,
is Uncle Joe Biden.
which he will forget anyway.
He's probably forgotten that he won already. So
Yeah, probably. So, Mark, what do you hope for, by the way?
well, I mean, it is between a giant douche and a third sandwich. I don't like both of them. I don't like the Republicans. They're conservative. They're crazy. They're weird. They are very much pro freedom of speech, which I really, really, really can appreciate.
Very good,
Democrats
yes.
are economically more my party, but they're so weird nowadays. It's very leftist and all kinds of pro
Trump!
minorities. Yeah. If I was a voter in the US, I probably didn't vote at any of them. I mean, I don't like both of them.
Me neither. Let's see what score is right now. Well, a lot of websites have different opinions. So, like for example, the BBC
Depends how you
says
look.
253 and the others 214. So it's a little bit weird, but okay. Yeah, it's quite funny that they really hope that Joe Biden takes Pennsylvania, which is quite funny. It is between it's two presidents which are both stupid and old. One is really really old. So
I don't think. Actually, I think they're both not stupid. I mean, Trump is a really rich and mighty industrial. I mean, industrially speaking, he's very smart. He really built an empire in basically all kinds of companies. It was like I looked into it. His company is really diversified. And Joe Biden has been going on for about 40 years or something in Washington. So they're both not stupid guys, but I don't know. This is like just old, annoying old grandpas. I don't know. They're
Well, the fact is, Trump is
weird.
really powerful. I mean, Trump is like that guy. I
Yeah,
don't like
yes.
China, so I'm going to block China.
That is one very good thing of Trump. He really started that. Fuck China.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's quite
Not the
funny.
people of China, but the CCP and the Chinese government. People of China are nice.
And I just noticed that my tripod can't hold its position, so yeah.
You look really wobbly, Ronnie.
Yeah,
Have you been
that's
drinking?
yes, very. Yeah, much better. To-do list.
It really looked like you had Alzheimer's. You're like wobbling a little bit.
Well, that's because I'm actually Joe Biden in a Dutch party.
Parkinson. Yeah, you're impersonating Joe Biden.
No, so actually, Trump will say like to interviewers like, "I don't like you, fuck off." That's what he will say. He doesn't like freedom of speech because he will say no.
Well, he likes freedom of speech, but as long as it's his speech.
Yeah. So that's actually the good part. I don't really know much about that Biden guy because he's quite old.
He's an old fart. It's like really party. You know, you have these party dinosaurs, like in the Netherlands, for instance. How would you all call one of these guys? Josias van Aartsen, you know, from the VVD.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was this really old party guy who has his elbow work in the party, slowly climbing on the ladder. And of course, in the Netherlands, something like that is not really possible. These guys are very unpopular, so they will never become prime minister.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, Biden is this old dinosaur within the Democratic Party. Yeah, basically they had no one better after Hillary Clinton, which was really weird.
I mean, a woman for president. Okay.
Yeah, she was a woman, but that was everything was said with that a woman, but she was just really odd and also very woke. So
Well, Donald J. Trump is born on the 14th of June,
oh, you're
1946.
gonna do the bio. Oh, wait, I gotta do the bio of Biden.
Yeah,
Wait.
he's 46, so he's 74 years old. In Jamaica, he's born at the Jamaica Hospital Medical Center in New York.
I know that Jamaica. Isn't that where Louis Rossman lives?
I don't know.
I
He
think it's
is
Jamaica. Yeah.
he's quite tall actually. So that's actually quite funny. He has like a 2.5 billion power. That's quite cool. He has some brothers and sisters, of course. He's married, okay, which is
I think
probably
he comes from a very modest family, actually.
yeah. So actually, I mean, yeah, I mean he's old. It's just an old person, really.
How old is he now?
74. He's also
74. Wow. You wouldn't say that, but it's because his face is always orange.
yeah, true. His face is
Yeah.
always orange, definitely.
And how old is Melania?
He doesn't say here.
I think his wife is not even
I
50 or something.
can Google that as well. Melania is 50.
She's relatively young. Yeah, she's relatively young. I
50
saw pictures of her like in the 90s and such. She was really beautiful. Now she's all Botoxed up, but
Yeah, of course. I mean, hey,
have you seen his daughter? Yeah, you should Google his daughter, Ivanka Trump.
Ivanka Trump? I feel
Yeah,
actually
Ivanka
I
Trump.
can.
She has some very nice pictures of her. Well, a few things are showing, and I think she's very cold at that moment.
Ivanka. That sounds a little bit Polish.
Well, his wife is from Slovenia, so
She's almost 40, so
yeah.
just
Have you
a
seen the
year
pictures?
younger. She's a year younger than you.
When she comes in the room, I mean, these things come first.
She's actually born in Manhattan. Okay, which is
Yeah, they're all from New York. Yeah, well, except Melania, she's from Slovenia.
so yeah. That's
Have you seen a picture of Ivanka? Then she walks in the room and she has such a tight shirt on, and she obviously has some weird implants or something. It's like,
oh well.
it's so weird to look at. I mean, it's and then she has this official job. It's so weird when women are. I don't know. This whole family is weird. If you have too much money, you always go crazy. I don't know.
Yep, apparently so.
And then we have, of course, good old Joe Biden, Grandpa.
Uh,
He's from 1942. He's even older than my dad, so you can imagine.
And what's also quite funny is actually Mr. Trump has a son which is 14. A 14-year-old son at that age. Then I'm thinking,
young,
he used his penis at a very late stage in a woman.
There's a lot of stories going around by his penis. So I heard a lot of weird stories about that, but that's not something for this stream.
No.
But yeah, good old Joe. He's been a senator since what is it? 1973 for Delaware
Oh
to
my.
2009. So can you imagine? Even he's just basically been a senator for older than I am.
Wow, what? Seriously.
And he is then 1942. So he is then 80. No, he's 78.
He's old.
Yeah, he's.
I mean,
really
it's
old.
grandpa versus
Jesus
grandpa, so dirty grandpa versus dirty grandpa.
Wow, dirty grandpa versus dirty grandpa. Yeah, indeed. Wow.
Wow, yeah, definitely.
He's from Scranton, from The Office, you know? Office.
Yeah, the Office.
The Office US, Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
why are they so old? Why don't they get like a younger president? I mean,
they have nobody better. They really have nobody better. No, they have nobody better.
I mean, I should say go Trump. I mean, I just like the guy. I never met him, but I think he's quite cool. And he's rich. And he's a good-looking daughter.
Yeah, they're always rich. Well, Joe Biden.
Joe Biden, I don't know how rich he is actually.
Maybe you probably
can check.
Rich. Well, even Obama was rich when he was becoming president.
Well, rich doesn't have to be. But who do you think will win? If you have to go into your magic hat or look.
Well, I first seriously thought
Close
Trump
your
would win.
eyes and think of it.
No, I seriously thought Trump would win because he was. I know he was behind in the polls, but they always pull people who are willing to tell them their voting, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
But they always not think about the white the white big white majority that is undereducated and always working in industrial jobs, and those are the people who really vote for Trump. So I think they really overlook them, and it's still going to be a close call. But I think Biden's going to win purely because Trump is behaving like such a fucking idiot. I mean, the bullshit that he tells all the time. I mean, it makes such a bad impression on the rest of the world. I mean, we laugh about him, and we have we have a bit of a clown of a prime minister,
yeah.
but at
A
least
bit of a
our prime
clown.
minister, yeah, he's a smart guy. You know,
Uh,
he doesn't say that bullshit.
don't say that word of smart, please. He's just as dumb as the
No,
third
I
cent.
think he's not that dumb, but
He is.
I mean, he said such stupid things, and Biden is just a, you know, he's really
Old
experienced. He's a friendly guy. He
and
never speaks
old.
weird things. Yeah, he's very old, and Trump always says
He's losing
weird
his
stuff on
memory.
TV.
He's getting Alzheimer. I mean, yes, that guy
But
is. I mean, why do you want to have a president? That's just in my opinion. A president, which will lose his memory at some point. I mean,
you keep repeating that. You don't know that. Maybe
yes.
he will stay very clear until a very old age.
No, I think he will be 1 year into presidency and then he will go home like it's normal home where he is
He forgets he's
born
president.
and he will forget that he's a fucking president. I mean, in my opinion, it will be better for the United States to get someone that's
Oh,
young.
Jesus.
So
Yeah,
for the next period of presidency, just
true.
lovely young people, maybe a lovely girl, just go for president. And the only thing you have to do to become a president in the United States, have big boobs, look good, and all boys will vote for you anyway. Because I think it's better to have something like Barbie for president.
Kim Kardashian. Kim
Could that-
Kardashian for president.
I mean, I think the United
Yeah.
States actually needs like a younger person to actually lead the country into a more modern age. Because just to be completely, frankly honest with you guys, you are so old. But that's because your presidents always have been very old.
Well,
Old
not
people,
always.
not always.
Obama was not even 50 when he became president, huh?
True,
He
true.
was really young.
Obama was relatively young, but these two are
Yeah.
quite old. So I think
Yeah.
if you choose Biden, you will go back to the Stone Age because he's
Yeah.
old.
Well, John F. Kennedy was a young guy. He was also somewhere in his 40s. I think 45 or something.
Yeah, so your presidents are pretty old, so just choose for a younger president, which might also modernize the country, so that you make houses with stone instead of wood, or concrete instead of wood, and going with like underground electrical wires instead of like above ground. I mean,
That's the image that I always
I
thought
mean,
of. It is such a modern country in one perspective, but
I've
in the
seen it
other
in a lot of
perspective, it's such
movies.
an old-fashioned country. Everything falls apart. It's crumbled. The bridges are
So
all 150 years old.
if
They're all
I
made of
compare
steel,
the
rusting
United
away.
States to like a series from like the A Team, and I compare it to like a modern movie made in the United States, and I still think, oh my god, nothing has really changed from like the first episodes of the A Team versus like newer episodes shot in the same area.
Yeah, well, that's true. It's
I
true.
mean, some buildings are just over 100 years old, and they still have those old grumpy cars sitting there. Like, oh my god, why? I mean,
Basically, the only modern thing is like New York. That's a little. That's a like a and then also only Manhattan. Look, that's like major modern because that's where the money's made, and everything else is just really old. It's old crap. I don't know.
yeah. I mean,
Everything's old.
even the Netherlands is better, but we are keep upgrading because that's how we live. Because we
Yeah.
don't like old shit after such a long time. So
If I compare my street outside with very old pavement, I mean this pavement is I don't know at least 15 years old or something, 20 years old.
yeah,
And then still looks a lot more modern than what you find in the US. In the US, you don't even have pavement. People just jump in their car and just drive away. It's such a weird experience. I mean, here everything's paved. If you walk around, there's always some pavement where you can walk on.
So what I really hope for is that the next president, even Trump, if he stays, that he will modernize the country. That people hopefully stop with like sending in paperwork to like vote by post. I mean, I've never seen that before. It even never really happened in the Netherlands. We always go like votes go to the room and then vote. I mean, voting by post. I mean, I know it's a pandemic, but even we won't go vote by post next year.
Well, I don't know about that. I heard our prime minister talk about that yesterday, and actually he was speaking about the same thing. So,
No, I will just go to the office and then vote directly. I won't send it by post because I'm not an old person.
hmm.
I'm modern.
Well, I'm not gonna vote at all. So yeah, I mean, as always, I'm not
No, no,
gonna
no.
vote.
You always have to vote between a giant douche and a turd sandwich.
So,
You always
no,
have to vote.
no. In the Netherlands, at least we have about 10 parties that you can vote on. So at least you have a choice.
Yeah,
Well, they're all like crappy, but
in the US you also have a choice, but then the choice is at the end it's only like two
well,
people.
I just noticed there are actually two independent or like well, at least connected to different parties, liberal Democrats, I think, and some independent candidates. So they actually ran for president, both of them, and in some states they got about 10,000 to 100,000 votes, but that was all they got. So
Yeah, oh well. And I really hope that the president, even if it is Biden or Trump, will modernize the country, will make the country less fat, because there's a lot of fat people, and yes, I'm also a little bit fat right
well,
now.
let's make it great again. I heard
And
that before.
let's make it great again. Well,
Let's make
actually,
America great again.
I think the United States can really use someone that makes it great again, because even when it's a leading country, like with the best president or like with the richest president, I mean, the country itself is in a lot of debt because of their own selfishness. But
They need basically they need to reach out. What Trump did was looking inwards and going back to, I don't know, America from the 80s. But America from the 80s is not there anymore, and it was enough declining as well in the 80s. I mean, if you look at the industry, I was reading about the Rust Belt states.
mhm.
That's the states Biden won: Michigan, Wisconsin.
Yeah,
Those
I know,
It's
yeah,
all the states with all this rusted away steel plants and stuff, and everything's closed down. It's like our hoogovens we have in Emuiden.
yeah, I know that.
You
Yeah.
used to have that all over the place, but almost everything closed down. All the factories, all the steel mills, everything, all the industry is gone there. So I
Because
think
mostly
like,
it's going to China, and because
yeah, it's
it's
China and they import a lot of stuff and yeah. I mean, just find a solution for that. And it seems to be that nobody really paid attention to that. And then these cities are emptying out. People are leaving. They're very much impoverished because all the people that are left are not able to move.
true.
So, I mean, do something about that. I mean, it's very crappy.
It is pretty crappy these days
Yeah.
with the United States and also in the Netherlands as well. But I think that the US should get its companies back. So like, just ask Apple, hey, we gonna give you like some tax refund if you are going to build your business in the United States again, like your factories and that kind of shit. But that's really impossible because Apple also uses other third parties to actually produce their products. So
True, and
actually,
most of it is in China. But
because it's
yeah,
cheaper and more efficient, because it is
yeah,
quite true, is that companies in China can be more efficient because the law will allow that. In
yeah.
the United States, even when the law allows it, they won't work efficient because that's not how the US works. At least in my opinion. So in my hope, I really hope that Trump wins because I like his grumpy face and his hair. It does remind me
Well,
of Wilders a little bit.
he's a giant douche. If I see a third sandwich,
I really go for the giant douche because I
A
don't like the
giant
turd sandwich.
I like the picture of the giant douche.
Yes. He's always
Yeah,
looking
but
like that, seriously.
I think actually we should take everything that we produce in China. We should take it away and produce it somewhere else because China is such a shitty country
And that's what I
in
think
terms
he
of
did really
government.
good with China. Just say, F you, China.
Yeah, go
Uh,
fuck yourself. Let's take it away and produce it somewhere else
but
because
I am
this
really
that's dumb.
scared that if Biden wins, that he will say, hello, China, welcome. Yeah, you will get
Yeah.
everything back.
Or
Then
just say, yeah, let's talk with China. Maybe they do what they do as we say then.
they will never. I
Then they will
think that
never just
Trump,
laugh at them.
when I heard that Trump said "F you, China," because we have to say "fu" these days because we cannot say the other word because people will say that's not
But
good.
Ronnie, what do you mean with F you?
Fuck you! Yeah.
You can say fuck you. I mean,
Yeah, well, I will just say that because I don't fucking care. But he said, like, when I heard that Trump said, well, fuck you, China, then I was thinking, finally, someone is saying, fuck you, China.
well, that was a very good thing, and I heard that Joe Biden also probably will continue that line because China is getting more powerful, and of course the
And the
U.S. is
US will
still.
never allow that to be
No, we
not.
never allow that. They're one of the richest countries in the world, so
Well,
they
which
they
is in
feel threatened.
debt, but in
They
debt.
finally understand that they are threatened by China
Yeah, and of
in all
course,
kinds of
America will
ways.
always think great and big. So if someone is bigger than them, they will never
Yeah.
allow another country to be bigger than them because
No, and
that's
it used to be Russia. Russia was also a bit laughably, but also a bit mean. But nowadays, Russia, in some ways, it's still mean, but in a lot of ways, you just laugh at them because we know they're lying all the time. I mean, it's very
true.
obvious. And China is more like how do you say shrewd? I mean, they're more cunning. They really are like the old Russians. Like they really know what they're doing, and that's dangerous. So,
True. So I
uh,
really hope that they will continue that whole China thing, and I really hope they will build a wall because
but
you have to build a
but
wall. You have to
they
do
have to
that.
continue making number 45,
Yes,
Bami special
but
with extra satay.
yeah, they have to continue that
Nothing
definitely.
wrong with Chinese food. Chinese food is really nice,
Yeah,
except dog. You don't eat dog here.
duck can be pretty nice actually. I've eaten it.
Yeah, yeah. They say it's pretty nice meat. So,
It
but
is
I mean, all these dogs. I've seen what they're doing with them. It's really horrible.
it's food for them, nothing more.
Well, they torture them because they think the meat will be more tender and stuff. I mean, I really saw some horrible things,
I did that to
and
your
it really seems to be
ex-girlfriend, and then she tasted better.
tastes better when I roasted her. No, yeah, they should really stop that. I mean, I heard in China, there's also quite some protest
But
against
what I
it.
also hope with
Yeah.
the new president, if whatever he comes, is that they will like more subsidize like electric vehicles. And why do I say that? Because in the United States, a lot of cars are still petrol or diesel, which we call it just benzene.
They're again
Um,
really behind in terms of Europe.
yeah, I mean, the United States is
Benzene,
a benzene.
benzene.
Benzene, yes. Because they are still using a lot of petrol, and even petrol in
True.
the United States is pretty damn cheap. But I'm thinking, well, you have a lot of superchargers there, because that's the United States, and they have electric cars or something like that. But they have to improve that, because the car industry, as they used to know it, is not good for the environment. Is not good for the states, because the states is really filthy in its air. The air is pretty filthy there. So they have to change that. I really hope the next president will actually
Yeah.
subsidize electric vehicles or something else that
That's
will be
something
better
Trump
for the
messed up as well. I
environment.
mean, he abolished a lot of rules for the environment.
Yeah.
Um, I heard that they even fired all the scientific advisors in the White House. So basically, they're not really focusing their policies on any scientific influence because Trump doesn't believe in it.
No.
Yeah,
They
so that's
really
not
have
very good.
to. They really have to grow, and that's something I don't like from all those presidents. Even don't like from Trump. They have to grow and not always stick on like the petrol and the diesel. Because
Yeah, but they don't
why?
listen to us. Huh? They always think they're the best country in the world.
Yeah,
So
but why? I mean, if you see here in
yeah,
the Netherlands, even we are getting more electric vehicles, which electricity is not the best thing. I mean, hydrogen
no
cars, I think
hydrogen.
hydrogen cars are maybe much better for the later because batteries still have to produce. If you go to Germany, they have a special rule so that you can like buy the Renault Zoe for like very cheap, or actually lease
And
it for.
hydrogen doesn't cost anything. Eh? Electricity is still more expensive. Hydrogen, you can mass produce it because you can just take some normal, regular water from a river.
And
You
it
don't
will,
even need that much, and you can produce hydrogen in large quantities from it. So
And if you use it, it will come back later as rain because so you it will be in a
yeah,
sort of circle.
if you
Yeah,
like burn it, you basically take the energy from the reaction, and all that comes from your exhaust is water vapor. So that's it.
yeah, and that water will come back to us as rain or as
Clean water vapor.
snow or as whatever. So I think that hydrogen is better than electric. I'm sorry, Mr. Tesla. I'm sorry. I like Tesla cars, but I
Well,
think
that can still shift. I mean, it's never too
hydrogen
late.
is better for the long term than electric vehicles because you need batteries. And batteries in electric vehicles aren't always that great because I know how to blow them up, so that's quite funny. And they're quite toxic.
Well, I mean, hydrogen, if that explodes, I mean, the explosion is way worse than from electric vehicles. Hydrogen is really powerful.
So I really hope that the next president will do something about their cars and their ecosystem in cars, that they go electric or hydrogen, because the United States can do it. I mean, they have a lot of tech companies there that can produce it. I mean, if the United States starts with like making like hydrogen cars, within the next 10 years, everyone in the world will have it
I
because
need to heavily invest in modernization in everything, not only the society, but infrastructure, electrical, vehicles, the way houses are built. Everything's made of wood. I don't know.
well,
I
not
don't
really
think.
in New York. In New York, it's a little bit concrete and
Well,
stone, but also
a
a lot
lot
of
of
wood.
stone, but most of the houses in the U.S. are made of wood. I mean, it's okay. Wood is fine, but it's not really insulating, and I doubt that most of the houses have any form of insulation or like
Well, if you are living in
double
like
thick
those
windows or something.
$10,000 or $10 million mansions, they are built with better quality. But
Yeah, but who owns a mansion there? I mean, there are few people
a lot
compared to the rest
actually.
of the U.S.
If you watch RTL 7, multi-million dollar listing, whatever, then a lot of people are apparently buying it. But yeah, it is quite stupid that they're still building with wood. I mean, we stopped doing that ages ago. We are still using
Nobody has a
it.
wooden house here. There's one wooden house still left in Amsterdam. That's like the oldest house of the city, and that
Well, we
almost
still use
collapses. So
wood. I mean, we still use wood for the windows, but it's also getting more
yeah, but it's
eco-friendly.
not our own wood. It's imported,
Yeah. So
or it's like polyester or something.
yeah, something like that. So they need to
Metal.
modernize the whole country, and the way of living. It has to be. It's all old. That still pay with checks. I mean, just get rid of that. I mean, it's so goddamn old,
Yeah,
America.
I heard about that system with banking and getting your salary, and I think sometimes it can take up to 2 weeks because before money has been wired, and then you have to put a check in and then go to a bank and get it
I
in
mean,
cash. I mean,
why?
whoever uses that, we stopped using that 30 years ago or something. I mean, how far are they behind with that?
Well,
It's
because I
crazy.
think it's just like in the US, they are used to it. So I think it's already there. So why should we change it?
It's
I mean, I
crazy. It's really
really hope
crazy.
the next president will change that over and say, okay, this system, it can be done. It's old, just don't. They really have to modernize that whole country
Yeah,
money
modernize the country. That's
perspective,
basically everything.
and just in like housing,
Oh, they have good credit
technology.
cards, Ronnie. I have to give him that.
Uh, they have they have invented the credit card system. That's actually the only good part.
Yeah, and
Uh,
it came from the how do you call that in English? It's a postkoets. That's how it started.
Stagecoach, yeah, it's,
Yeah, it's Stagecoach. That's how American Express started. Stagecoach guarding transport of money. I mean, it's crazy, and that's how the credit card started, basically. So
yeah. Well, that's actually the credit card's actually not
it's
bad.
a good
The
thing. Credit card
only
is
thing
great.
is they have to start like checking out because they don't really do that in the states apparently. Because everyone can get a
Nope.
credit card if even if you're living on the streets, you can get a credit card.
Credit card, as long as you pay and pay the interest, yeah, no problem.
No problem, no problem at all. And do you have your credit card, sir? Can I
Do you
take your
accept?
credit
Do you accept
cards?
American Express? Welcome here.
American
You
Express is
can't live
welcome
life without.
here.
You can't live life without it.
Well, I also have that sticker on my laptop. I
Ah,
welcome American Express because I can do that. Yay!
at my office at work, we have an old metal sign that says "American Express, welcome here." It's really funny. It's someone in the
So yeah,
window.
not everything in the US is bad. I mean, they think big.
No,
So yeah, I
most
like.
Americans are very nice people. Usually they're very friendly, and the people who do go outside the U.S., which I think about 60% of all the Americans never went outside the U.S. That's one thing to start with. I think most of the people in the Netherlands, I think at least 80% traveled outside to a neighboring country. But in the U.S., I don't think most people ever traveled outside the U.S. So that's already one thing. So they never knew anything else. And if the people who are traveling outside the US, they are really, their eyes are really opened. Like, oh my God, this is the Netherlands. Everything's so safe. There's very little crime.
Very little.
Healthcare. Healthcare is well, it's not free, but I mean, it's all paid for. And
No.
whoa, the streets are all paved and it looks modern. And you have good
Well,
internet. Stuff.
I've been in NY, New York, and that kind of shit. I mean, the streets in New York. If you're also watching Louis Rosmus' video, and I really hope they will improve that, because the roads in New York are really trashy, and especially in the whole United States. There are potholes in the street. I mean, there is a bike lane, but no one really knows what a bike lane is, because it's there.
Well,
It
I am
has a picture.
surprised that
It
the
has a
last 10
picture of a bike, but they think they can
Yeah, true.
park their car there. So Uber drivers will park their car there because they think they
But I am
can.
surprised that in cities like New York that they started like this bike revolution.
That they have a bike
Um,
lane in the first
yeah,
place.
that they now have bike lanes and there are a lot of people biking around. So that is very good actually. I mean, they finally started doing that.
But they're
I mean,
still
it's so efficient to
biking.
do that.
They're still cycling in the middle of the road, because that's. I do that as well when I'm in Arnhem. I just cycle in the middle of the road. I don't really use the bike lanes. Yeah.
Oh, here in my city, we usually share. Well, we have a lot of bike lanes. No, we have a lot of single bike lanes, so they're free
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
road. But we also have a lot of shared ones, so you have to share with buses and traffic anyway. But the difference is in the Netherlands, everybody's used to bikes on the road, so most people look out for it. I mean,
Yeah, and
they
bikes
keep
are
their
also protected
distance.
here, so
Yeah, they slow down. I mean, everybody knows it, and everybody
everyone
takes
knows,
it into
except
account.
if you are a traveler from another country, especially the US. I saw it lately that there was someone with a US license plate here, and I was thinking, why the hell is someone here with a US or Canadian license
Well,
plate?
I had a colleague who brought a US car over.
And
That was interesting.
I was actually like before the pandemic started. I was
Mm.
actually going to my work, and I saw someone with a Canadian license plate, and I was thinking,
Well, you can
why?
bring it here. You have to bring it in a sea container or with a
And
plane.
I'm
Uh,
thinking, she was
Transport is very
totally
expensive.
not used. That woman was totally not used to
Oh.
bicycles. She was thinking, why are bicycles here? She just ignored us because she never really seen it.
No,
And
bicycles are for kids
so
on the
actually, she
sidewalk.
almost hit at me, and she had a Tesla vehicle. So the Tesla was stopping for me, not the person itself. And so I said to her, "Did you ever seen a bike before?" Yeah, well,
Nope.
I'm from Canada. I never really seen it. And I'm thinking, well, we know a bike exists, we know what it is, but they are not really used to it in traffic, apparently.
Yeah, I think only like mountain bikes or
And she was really
speed biking for
confused that we
sports.
had a
But
bike lane dedicated for bikes.
yeah,
And I said, well, if you had really hit at me and you injured me, you had to pay. Because bikes in the Netherlands are
you have
protected.
to pay. You will
Cyclists,
get sued. You will get sued as well by the police.
yeah, because cyclists are protected.
Yeah,
It depends
very well.
on the bike lane, because we have a lot of protected bike lanes here. That means that if a car hits you, you get you will get a lawsuit. So yeah, that's actually, cyclists here are protected.
And it's
Uh,
weird actually. A lot of countries don't do anything with bikes except like speed biking.
yeah.
But it's so efficient, especially in big cities. Um, uh, I jump on my bike and I'm here at the supermarket within 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and I have a totally free, almost a free bike lane until the supermarket. I mean,
Yeah, the same as I when
why
I
would you
go
use
to
the
the big
car if
city.
unless it rains maybe? But
I'm like 10 kilometers from the big city, or 10 to 5 kilometers, and I will use my bike because, first of all, I'm faster on my
how
bike.
many miles is that, Ronnie?
Somewhere like 5 miles, somewhere like that. I don't
Yeah, I
know,
think it's 6 7 miles. I think.
6 7 miles. So I will actually go on my bike, and I will be in the city center in 15 minutes, and then I'll go at 25 to 28 kilometers an hour
Yeah, you have
on
an
the bike
electric bike,
lane.
so that helps a lot. Yeah.
On the bike lane, because we
Yeah.
have like two bike lanes going to the city center.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have some stop signs, but I usually ignore them. Bosses don't like that when I ignore the stop signs, because they always shout at me or yell at me because I'm ignoring them.
Well, it makes kind of sense. I mean,
And late in the evening, you can just cycle in the middle of the road because there are no cars here.
yeah,
So
there's nobody. Yeah, it's here
it
as
will only
well.
take me like 10 to 15 minutes, 20-minute stops to get in the city center. And even then, I will use my bike. And even
Yeah.
then, in the city center, I can take the bus because the bus will come at every 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's one other thing. What I was so surprised to learn that, of course, in America you have the Amtrak trains, and basically it is possible to take a train from one side of the U.S. to another. You can basically travel from New York through Chicago to I think it is San Francisco, something like that.
hmm
So it is possible, but it's so highly inefficient because this thing runs, I don't know, 2 times a day or something, and I see these train tracks over there. My dear lord, I mean, it's not comparable to our trains. Our
No,
trains
because
are
those trains are not going faster than
whoa.
150 kilometers an hour. Because they won't go faster.
There's no
We
high speed train.
No,
There's
because we
no
have high speed tracks here.
schedule. There's no good track. Sometimes the tracks even have these wood. How do you call this wood supports under them still?
And
Nobody uses them here.
the
It's all
train
concrete.
infrastructure is there really low,
Yeah,
and
we have all bridges. Everything's free. It can basically run from the north from the Netherlands to the south, unhindered, without any crossways or anything.
true. And we have like those tracks. We have high speed trains because all
Yeah,
our
high speed
trains are
trains. Yeah.
electric anyway.
Well, there was an interesting thing in the US because for long distances, actually people will take the plane anyway. So it
Yeah,
probably is
because
not very rewarding to do that.
and of
But
course a plane ticket in the US makes more sense to go to the
yeah,
airport and take
exactly. It's easier.
an airplane to like from New York to Los Angeles because I
Yeah,
think that's way
for
faster
that,
and economically better because
or from
people
Chicago maybe to Orlando or Tampa or whatever, north to
yeah
south, east to west. Yeah.
because those planes are always full anyway, except for now. Then maybe they are still are. So it's better for the environment, maybe. Because they don't have to use a diesel train because the most trains are there on diesel. Uh,
Everything's on diesel. I was like, oh my god, they never heard of electrification? No, apparently they're not.
no, because I think because they use like the wires above ground.
The wires are above ground. Yeah, it's only used for telephone traffic. No, but what they were doing, and you see a little bit improvement now because you have some trains in Texas again. It's very funny because they always said Texas is so conservative, but
No, they
not in that
aren't.
perspective. They're always a bit ahead of the rest.
hmm
And what they've done is, like for instance, between Dallas and Fort Worth, which are cities who are extremely close together, they constructed pretty good train lines, which run, I don't know, every half hour or something, and
Yeah,
maybe in rush hours more often.
they can
And
do
those
that.
things are just as modern as here in the Netherlands, but it's just for short lines or medium distance, like for instance from Dallas to Houston or something,
Well, for
which is
example, yeah.
200-300 miles or something. And that seems to be a good idea because if you have to travel by car, you usually have a lot of traffic jams.
Well, what
Uh,
I've learned,
yeah.
and the underground, that's something that we
The
maybe can.
subway, yeah, but that's only in the big cities. Subways are usually quite good.
Yeah, and that's something we can maybe learn a little bit. But our subways are the underground, as they call it in London or in the United Kingdom. I think our underground is quite modern because we have a
Yeah,
quite
because it's all
modern underground.
relatively new.
If you're going to Hamburg, then you're quite shocked because most underground there are from the 50s. I mean, it's quite old.
No, even before, even from the
Well,
I don't
we
know,
have been
1920 or 10 or
Yeah, we
something.
have been in some of those subway
Yeah.
carts, and they are
Well,
so old. You have to open the doors manually. If there are
yeah, the
even
cars.
the cars, actually, if you
They were
they're
very warm. Yeah.
they're actually pretty old, and
Yeah.
but yeah, they still work. We upgrade them because we are luxury assholes here. We want to have more
But
and more and better because we are
I
paying
mean, the
for it.
cars are old, but I mean, the tracks and all the lights and the electronics that is maintained really well. Also in Germany.
Also in Germany, but it's still
Yeah,
crappy and old,
it's all. Yeah, well,
but
it's crappy and old.
efficient. But it's
But it's
efficient.
it's it's all about that. And in the US, I heard, for instance, about the New York subway system, which is really massive. Um, that like they need actually to put in 1.5 billion dollars extra every year just to modernize it because they never really modernize it. Just
No,
they connected everything together because they used to be only split up companies, like in a good US fashion.
yeah, the good
Just
use
sell
fashion.
every
Yeah.
line to another company, and they made one network somewhere in the 80s, and they never really invested
No,
in maintenance and upgrades, and that's what they're running into right now. And now everything's dropping, it's falling apart, lines are just stopping suddenly,
because
subways are
the
not
motors
running.
are getting
Yeah,
broken.
well, the
Because
cars itself are relatively modern, but
Well,
Yeah,
I've
I mean
seen
it's
from
such
the
old
old
crap.
underground. I've seen pictures of the electric
Uh,
motor, and I'm thinking most electric motors are from the 60s and 70s because they
yeah,
upgraded
it's really old.
the lines in New York like in the 80s. So in the 80s, most
Uh,
lines are modernized for that time being. But those electric motors, and I'm thinking, how the hell are they still running? And they're still braking, but they're still repairing that shit. And I'm thinking,
yeah,
seriously, just take a look at how they've done it even in Germany, because even when those subway cars are old, they rarely break really down because it's German efficiency. And even just take a look in London or other countries how they are maintaining their underground.
they're
Because
putting a lot of money in it. Yeah,
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 because that's something that will really never happen in New York or in the States in the first place.
no.
Oh,
In the Netherlands, I mean, sometimes things are crappy, but everything's so well maintained. I mean, and if it's 5 years old, it's going to be upgraded again. I mean,
well,
it costs
I've
a lot
never
of
really
tax
had
money, but
experience
at
in the
least,
underground in Amsterdam. Never really had bad experiences. It was always somewhat on time. Except if
well,
you're
the
looking
old
at,
metro cars never really broke down. Well, except if there was
well,
some kind of no, the old
nothing.
ones they was very sturdy. They were made in Germany, by the way. It's the same in Hamburg. They have the
Yeah,
same cars.
same, yeah.
But yeah, also the Nero ones, they're only down every once in a while when there's
Well, yeah,
some
because they're made in
power
Japan and China
interruption.
these days. So,
No, no, no. The ones are built in Spain, I think.
Spain? Seriously, are we
Yeah,
using
yeah.
Spain?
Spain, there's a big company called CAF.
Oh,
They
okay, yeah,
build
yeah, okay.
trains and
CF, I know,
subways.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they have a lot of experience. It's pretty good stuff. It's not bad.
Well, I really
But
hope we go back to the German efficiency because they're better
well, you
with
have
those.
Siemens. Siemens still builds those things. So
Yeah, they're still building the electric motors for the electric trains in Germany for like the ICE trains. They're still made by Siemens and Bosch. So yeah,
but I think in the US they really should switch their way of thinking to don't think with cars because everybody goes to New York with a car. You can park on the street everywhere. In the
yes,
Netherlands, in Amsterdam, it's very rare that you can just park on the street anymore
if you
because
can
it's no
find a
longer
spot,
allowed because
no.
it takes in so much time, so much
And a lot of
space.
people in Amsterdam are used to the public transport anyway because in Amsterdam it's
Yeah,
very
it's
good
really
to
good.
use it, and they
Yeah,
use
everybody uses it.
bikes.
Yeah.
That everyone hates in Amsterdam, the bikes. So, but
Yeah, the bikes or a tram. We don't
yeah,
even have that much bus lines anymore. It's
no, it's
tram or
more like
subway
tram or
nowadays.
underground. Yeah.
Yeah, bus lines are in the north where we don't have where the roads are much wider. I mean, they're efficient, but in the city itself, most bus lines are banned. So
No? So I think the US has really have to think of that. So
yeah,
if the next president should really do something with the public transport, just modernize the whole fucking country. Really, because you guys are old. Really, just modernize it a little
you're living in
bit.
a bunch of old crap.
Well, actually, I always thought when I was a little child, I was thinking United States, it's great, and it's a
Yeah,
great country. I mean,
but
I've
it's still
heard,
great. I
yeah.
mean, yeah,
I mean, a lot of medication is coming from the states. It has a
yeah.
lot of good American companies, like this one, the Apple one.
Most of the most of the medical company, most of the pharmaceutical companies are actually from the US.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, for example, if we have something like a medical thing going on here, in the US they will say, "Oh, we already have that for years," and in the Netherlands we will say, "Oh, that's brand new. We are starting a clinical trial here." But no, in the US they say, "Well, you're still using it as a trial? Seriously? We already have it."
Yeah, but the FDA, but well, still the FDA in the US is they are regarded as very conservative. I mean, much more than the EMA in Europe.
Yeah,
It's much more thinking out of the box. But in the US, of course, they have the companies there. They always do the clinical trials there. They're willing to pay way more for medicine over there.
yeah.
Everybody pays way more for their insurance, but yeah, they do get the best medicine. Um, yeah.
I do not know if the healthcare is any better. I have no experience
Well,
in
if
that
you have
part.
money, you have a lot of private clinics as well. Public healthcare, yeah, if you have money, they do everything for you. But
Yeah, as
if you're
long
not
as you
very well
pay.
insured, yeah,
In the
exactly.
Netherlands, even when you don't pay, you still get your insurance. You are still insured. So even when you are living on the street and you have broken your legs,
Yeah, you get it
because
for free.
you
Yeah,
will go to the hospital, they will still help you, and you will still get first class
I
service.
think there's a special fund for that for people who have no
So
home or really not insured.
even when you are poor here and you have to go to the hospital for an emergency, you will still
Yeah,
get
you
it.
get help. Yeah,
Of course,
yeah.
if you are living in a house, you have to consult your insurance company. But
In
first,
the US, you first have to make a call to your insurance company to see if you don't have to pay $100,000 for just an ambulance.
ambulance
just
service.
just an ambulance service, and if you break your leg in the Netherlands, I don't know, it will cost you 5,000 6,000 euros in total, which you only have to pay 200 euros for or something.
Yeah,
And in the
because
US, you pay $50,000, and if you're not insured, you have to pay it in total.
yes, they will
It's
come to
completely
you.
crazy.
They will come to you with a pin and chip device. You can swipe your card.
No, not swipe,
Not
not
swipe.
swipe anymore, Ronnie.
No, you can pay contactless.
Yeah, it's crazy, and those kind of things, I really don't want to live in the US for those kind of things. I really
No,
would not consider it.
I would not go to the US with my current
I would
condition with
rather live
high
in
blood pressure.
Canada, which these things in Canada they just have normal healthcare. I mean,
They really
everybody
should
just
improve the healthcare. I mean,
yeah.
just
But then most of the Americans don't want it. Huh? They say, "Well, I only want to pay for my own healthcare." So, yeah,
no.
what do
Then
you
you
want?
get it. Yeah, then you are getting. But yeah, they need to modernize. That's actually
Yeah,
the
it's so
conclusion they have
old-fashioned.
to do.
Exactly.
Each president should upgrade
Hey, but still,
something.
man, it's a country who gave us computers, McDonald's, your lovely Apple,
Yeah, Cupertino,
uh,
Microsoft.
Google, and of course Android. Not the phone, but the Android system is from Google. So, I mean, there's still a lot of great things coming from the
Yeah, the
US.
US did a lot of great things. That's completely true. They brought us Coca-Cola
Yeah, Coca-Cola, the
in World
wonderful
War II.
little
Yeah,
fuzzy drink. Yeah,
yeah, they gave us a lot of great things.
movies,
Like
Hollywood,
the mac and cheese, which I still like from time to
mac and
time.
cheese,
It's so stupid that they only like eat macaroni,
hot
pasta, and
dogs.
cheese, hot dogs. Yeah, the
Well, I mean,
hamburgers, which are not
we have
from the United States. You American people, I would just clarify it right now. The hamburger didn't come from the United States. It never came from there. It
you did
came
it.
from Germany. Now you know
Okay.
it, and it's actually in a place where we
Uh,
have been before. Uh,
well,
and
with you, everything comes from Germany, Ronnie.
No, actually, the hamburgers actually originated in Germany in the city called Hamburg. Because that's originated. That's originated its
Well, it makes
shape.
sense, huh? Hamburg,
Yeah, there
hamburger.
actually the shape as we know it right now actually came from there. And
Well,
also the
they're very
name
good with
came from
sausages,
there.
so
Yeah. Even a
and the
good kebab, you can actually get it in Germany as well.
well, yeah,
Even
because of all the Turkish
the Turkish in Germany. So that's for you, lovely Americans.
ladies of pleasure.
Yeah, ladies of pleasure.
That Hamburg is always also a good place for ladies of pleasure.
So yeah, a lot of good things come from the States, except for the hamburger. It never came from
Yeah,
there. But I tried
surfing.
actually, and what I also what I also have to change is their normal supermarkets, because the normal supermarkets I have here we have here a little store, which also sells U.S. milk, and I'm thinking that milk has sugar in it, and I'm thinking, why do they need sugar in milk?
Yeah, their milk is quite horrible.
They have to go to Whole Foods, whatever, to go to get real milk. I'm thinking, why do you produce everything with sugar? Why
Yeah,
is there sugar in cheese? Why is the sugar in ham? Why is the sugar in fucking milk?
I think that they have better. I think they have more lenient laws on food additives as well.
Yeah,
Here in Europe, we are quite more strict what you can add to food. So the food is more pure,
yeah, and
more superior.
more superior
Um,
food, superior food. Oh my
and
god!
of course, our milk here. What we do with our milk here, we just take it from the cow. We skim it a little bit and we pasteurize it, and then we put it
In
in a
cans.
carton,
Yeah.
and it basically goes to the store. That's all. We're not adding anything to the milk.
Yeah, and why do they have to add sugar? I mean,
I don't
I've
know.
tried it and I actually spit it out immediately
Yeah, it's
because
horrible.
it's horrible.
But
Even the
I have to
sour
admit,
milk has sugar in it.
in a lot of other countries in Europe, the milk is not really drinkable. I mean, it's crappy.
Yeah, because we are the country of the cows.
Yeah, I
So
tried milk in Spain. It's
no,
bleh, it's horrible. It's
and
like
I'm I,
this
I'm
sterilized milk. It's really undrinkable.
and
It's
I
terrible.
like milk, and I especially drink full fat milk because I just like that. I like milk. I drink like a liter of milk every day. My mom doesn't really like it, but hey, yeah. So they really have to take that as just get rid of all that bad food there. And
Yeah, exactly.
maybe lower down the portions of food.
And the funny thing is, I've seen recently. I also saw some few videos from the US in the 1980s,
Mm-hmm.
and in the 1980s there were not really a lot of fat people out in the street. Most people were just like normal weight. You saw a little bit people, a few people who were a little bit overweight, but they were just a
Mm-hmm.
little bit bigger, but not extremely fat people. I mean, everybody was just like normal. So it really happened in the last 40 years.
Yep. Let's see. What is the current position between Trump? Okay.
Well, I saw Georgia was doing a recount.
Yep.
Let me see what is momentarily. Oh, Biden will hold a speech at 2 o'clock, um, Dutch time at least.
Yeah, Dutch time. Yeah.
Yeah, and of
Okay.
course the whole Corona thing. Um, yeah, Biden. No, Trump really made a mess of that. I mean, I'm not sure what he was doing, but I mean, what has he been doing anyway? Did he even do anything against it?
No.
I don't think so, huh? And when everything closed down, he said, "Well, let's open it up again because it's bad for the economy." And then more people got sick.
Well, yeah, the same we do here because you have to do
Well,
that.
but they're not really doing anything against the epidemic. It's like, yeah, stay inside. That's it, basically. And in the meantime, people get sick and sick and sick all the time. So,
Yeah. Oh well. Something. Yeah. Sometimes it happens. There's nothing you can do about
well, we
it.
know it's not a virus. I mean, it's all a hoax.
That's all fake, people.
Like the
No.
shitty little newspapers that I got in the in the mail a few days ago.
So yeah,
Jesus Christ.
it's actually quite funny that they are still doing that well. I really hope that Trump will win because he's younger than Biden, and I just don't like Biden because I don't like his face. Because he's old. He should go to an elderly home, elderly care.
Well, he's really a senior now, so
Yeah, he should really go like, can I get discount on the public transport because I'm over 65 years old?
can you please help me? I don't manage to get into my email anymore.
I don't know, how do I get this suit? Can I get it on, please? And that kind of shit. So, yeah, that's everything that I know. They have to modernize the whole country, really. Come on, US, you can do it.
Yeah, that seems to be like the main conclusion of our little America discussion rant sort of thing.
Yeah, rent. Giant douche versus a third
Rant.
sandwich.
But
So,
I must stress, we really don't hate Americans. I met a lot of American people.
yep.
They were always very nice,
They
very
always think
intelligent as
big.
well. So
They always think
they do
big.
think big.
They
Yeah.
always demand a fucking manager on the phone. Because they always think they have to talk to a manager.
Yeah,
Uh,
Americans are a really weird bunch of people when they're on
but
the phone in
yeah,
customer service.
I had one today, and she wanted to speak to the manager, and I said, "Why?" Yeah, because that's normal in the US, and I said, "Well, that's not normal in the Netherlands,
No,
so
not
you have
all
to
in the
deal with
Netherlands.
me because you will
You
never
can be
speak to
way
them."
more rude in the Netherlands against these people because basically, that's also one other retarded thing in the US. These companies have so much power. The thought that you can be fired like basically all the time, it's really weird. There's no country in Europe that actually has that kind of
No,
weird thing in the contract. Everywhere in Europe, you cannot get fired for no reason. I mean, I can only get fired if I start fighting or
sexual
come,
abuse
yeah, sexual abuse, or come in the office high or drunk or something.
or naked.
Uh, or naked, yeah, whatever is very offensive. But not just for making mistakes and doing a little bit of a bad job for 1 or 2 days. In the US, they can say to you, "Well, you're fired. Get out. Take your stuff. You have half
Goodbye.
an hour,"
See you
and then
later.
you just hire somebody else the same day. It's impossible, and then they only have 2 weeks off for the whole year. 2 weeks. It's
Yeah.
insane. We
So
have 6.
Americans are a little bit crazy in that, so they have to change that as well.
I
Uh,
have 5 weeks off for the whole year.
yeah, like we said, we don't hate America. America brought us
No,
great things.
yeah,
Apple,
great.
of course, they did a great job. I love you, Apple. I love you.
Well,
I love your job. I don't like Cook, but I love jobs. Um, yeah, so actually, that they did a great job. They brought us a lot of good things. Yeah, they brought us Intel. They brought us AMD. They brought us the Commodore 64. A
yeah.
good old machine. They gave me the iPhone.
Gave
So
us Android. They
yeah,
gave
they
us a
gave us
smartphone in
yeah,
general.
They're giving us Roller Coaster Tycoon. They are giving us The Sims.
They didn't give us Football Manager though.
No,
Nope, that's an English game.
they're giving us Microsoft Office.
Microsoft, yeah, Microsoft has been really
No.
instrumental in IBM.
IBM,
That's
yeah.
another one.
They
Yeah,
gave us
another really good one.
Motorola.
But at the same time, companies like Google and Apple, they're really big and they're basically controlling everything. So that's also not very good. But that's also very American. Just
No,
become such a big tycoon that nobody really can touch you anymore.
they don't care. If they get lawsuited, they will say, okay, we will pay, we don't care.
Yeah, they don't care. And in Europe, we have a little bit of different take on these kind of things, I guess, as well.
Yep. We are
I don't
just
think we
different.
tolerate it as
We are
yeah, we tolerated
thinking
it.
big, but we're still thinking small. A little bit combination in between.
Yeah.
In the US, they always only think, well,
Money.
it's small. Okay, we don't care. Oh, it's big. Oh yes, come, please come.
Yeah, let's
that's-
build the biggest skyscraper.
Let's do it because it has to be big.
It
Oh,
has
you
to be
want-
big. It has to be the USA.
Oh, why? You want to have a small house? I'm sorry, goodbye. Oh, you want to have a big house? Yeah, of course we're going to build it.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, we've been in Hamburg. Everything was bigger there as well.
Yeah.
I mean, Hamburg only has about 1 million people. It's just a little bit bigger than Amsterdam, basically. But it's just because they have the room in the US as well, where they built the cities. I mean, they can expand like forever.
Ooh,
They have a lot of room there, so you can make everything really big.
They can.
Makes sense.
But still, Biden is still in lead, so
Of course.
I'm going to miss you, Trump. I love you, Daddy. You're a sugar daddy.
No, this sounds weird, Ronnie.
Yeah, it is. But there are things that are pretty good. Maybe the school system, but that also has a little bit to change.
Well,
I mean,
it depends on what school you are, how much money you have again.
I mean, I've seen a lot of like schools. They also have like real black schools, so only black people are going.
Yeah, that's one other thing. I mean,
which will
the
never.
US has-
Which we also had in the Netherlands. In the Netherlands, you had a school like only for like some Islam people or something like that, somewhere in Rotterdam. I don't know where it was.
no, but I mean,
They had like
in the US, you can basically have schools that only really, literally, only have black people, including teachers. In the Netherlands, you will have sometimes school who have a lot of people of foreign descent, but there is at least always one or two white people to be found. And it's not really segregated on race. In the US, you really have schools who are saying, well, we only have black people here. We don't want white people.
No.
In the Netherlands, that's not even possible. I mean,
No.
you will never find it as well.
And it's not really allowed. We actually tried it. We
Yeah.
actually had like a school like that, but we are actually fighting that school because we think it's against the law to actually
Well,
have
you
a
can
school.
have a school based on religion.
That's
like the same in the US. But I mean, if you have a black person who's Catholic and you have a white person who's Catholic, I mean, they're all welcome. It's not that like
we don't
the
really
white
care
person or
if
the
you are
black.
black or white. You're just going to the same class, same school, same classroom, whatever, same
Yeah, it's
toilets.
much less of a thing in the Netherlands. There's a lot of stuff always going on about it, but in the end of the day, we're much more, I don't know, accepting of each other.
Yeah.
At least in
In
the
the
working
US, that
place
will
and
never really
school.
happen. No.
In the US, it's always. I never understand that. They always have such a big problem with people's race. It's always about questions as well. Like, what race are you? Like, what? Why? Why do you even want to know?
Yeah,
The
who
Netherlands, they
cares?
never ask you that.
Nope.
Yeah, who
Well,
cares?
maybe we will have a fight with you, but there are people that are against black people. I mean, we are against a few black people here. We both are against a few black people. That's completely true.
Yeah, but that's because they're a bunch of criminals and douchebags.
I don't really like the Islam people because if we criticize them, we are getting death
They
messages.
chop off your head.
Yeah, we are getting like we are going to kill you. So I don't like those people.
Yeah,
I
that's
have
still stupid.
problems with some black people because they are lazy as fuck. But if you are just a normal black person that is just normal working, then we have no problem with you. If you don't
No,
steal,
why should we? Yeah. I
then
mean,
we have no problem. In the US, even when you're working hard, they might still have a problem with you because your skin color is different than theirs. That's
you
weird.
get these weird courses like you're not supposed to touch somebody's hair, and then say, oh, wow, you have beautiful black hair, and I can just not imagine somebody ever doing that somebody to Let imagine I walk up to a black colleague and I start touching her hair, sniffing it and feeling it. Like
Apparently,
the hair is so beautiful. I guess in the US sometimes that really actually happened. I
yeah,
don't know. It's so weird to can imagine that. I mean, why would I want to touch black people's hair?
I don't
It's so
know.
or say to a gay guy, oh well, you're not yeah, you're at least a normal gay guy. You're not an extravagant a
Can I
guy with
touch your
feathers in his
penis?
ass
Can I touch
and
your penis to
yeah,
try it?
runs around naked in the weekend. Oh, at least you're normal. Whoever says that to somebody, I mean, that's a weird thing to say. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I like the US. It's a pretty open country. You can do a lot of great things, but it's old. Just guys, just renew
Yeah.
yourself. And
I
that's
mean, Trump had a great slogan, "Make the U.S. great again," but
well, he
then he took the
tried.
wrong turn.
Yeah, he tried to go back to the 80s, which isn't
Yeah,
really
to the
that great.
'80s. Yeah, let's make steel, boys.
Let's make steel. Let's make everything wood again.
Yeah,
Let's
and
go
then we
back
wood and
to
steel and coal.
let's go back to the horses, old cars, run on diesel.
They forget that they import Dutch steel for their cars because we make some kind of specialty steel that are unable to create in the
Well, we are
US. So
making superior steel, so superior.
yeah, basically it is a superior product, and they import it from us. We have a factory here in the Netherlands, really big, and they
No, that's
import it to the US to
exported
make
to
their
the
own
US. Yeah.
cars. Yeah, it's really weird.
So yeah, that's all I have to say. I hope that Trump
Yeah.
still wins, even when he is quite a
No,
grumpy. He's a grumpy bear.
I hope
Uh,
Joe Biden wins.
he's the
Biden for
third.
president.
He's the third sandwich. Trump,
Uncle Joe. Uncle
Trump, Trump,
Joe.
Trump.
Biden.
No, we have
Biden.
to do the fist in the air.
Oh yeah, fist in the air, and then I have to wave a flag and then
Uh,
yell at you really loudly
yeah,
with a policeman in between
yeah,
because we're not going
in
to touch you.
between. So like we said, we don't hate the US. We don't hate the United States of America. We love it. But you are quite weird people. Demanding a manager every time you call us. Your road
Because we're
system.
both in customer service because
Yeah.
we know when we deal with Americans what it is.
I exactly know what I deal with a fucking New Yorker, because they always think like big and that they're giant douchebags, and they only think about clothing because that's what they like in in New York. I know exactly when I speak to someone from Los Angeles or California. I know because you instantly know once you have someone of them on the
Yeah.
phone. Because you instantly recognize them and they always demand a manager instantly.
Oh, yeah, and they cannot seem to really make a difference between a Dutch credit card of American Express and the US one. In their eyes, everything is a US one. They don't understand that the Netherlands is an independent country, different laws,
Yeah,
part of the European
but still,
Union,
I will
different
go.
financial laws.
I will now always go to a customer service. Now always demand manager instantly.
Manager, yeah, yeah.
Just go to the manager. Yes, can I speak to manager, please? And I said, no, you have to deal
Manager.
with me. And when you
My
say
name
that,
is Karen.
and when they actually say that, when they actually say that they have to deal with me, they're always like, oh, they're actually shut for a minute. For a minute, you don't hear them. And I'm thinking, oh, I have to
Yeah,
speak
because
to.
in the US you get fired if you don't get a manager.
Yeah,
And here, if you say no, you're not gonna speak to the manager. My manager will applaud me to be steadfast with
so,
with
lovely
my tone.
Americans, just stop demanding a manager because that's
Yes,
just bullshit. And for the US, just fucking new your whole country. Renew the
yes,
road systems, renew the electricity and everything. Just make it modern and make electrical trains. Stop reducing diesel.
and Joe Biden for president.
Trump for president.
Third sandwich.
Ah, the douchebag! The douche! The giant douche! Yes, for the people who knows, that's actually a South Park reference, yes. So really, I hope the giant douche will win. He lost that the third sandwich wins. And I really hope that you stop demanding for a manager when you call Dutch customer service. Thank you.
Yes, stop doing that. It's annoying.
Stop thinking that everything is made in the United States.
It's not.
It's,
Most things are made in China, actually.
Yep. And yes, I'm working for an American company, so I should please everyone, but I don't. So yeah, there
Me
you
too.
know. Mark's also working for a American company. I'm too. I'm working for an internet service provider here for a credit card, but stop demanding for a manager, please. Upgrade your systems. Just do it. Whichever president will get elected again, or get an erection again, depends on how you want it.
Just be a little bit more like Europe and a little bit more like the rest of the world.
Yeah, just look at us how great we are. We have good cheese.
Yes. Take the great things and implement them in the US.
Yeah, just don't take the stupid things. So don't go and think, hey, they have a Mark Rutte, we have to take that as well. Don't.
Just to end with all of it, I would say, and Ronnie would say, make America great
Great
again.
again. Yes, definitely. Just do it, guys.
All
You
right.
can.
Do it. You
Just
can do
do it. Go
Yes,
Trump.
you can. Take another slogan.
Yes, you can. Modernize it. Really, you guys have to modernize your gold country. So I really hope that you guys, Americans, will make a wise decision.
Yes.
And before you make the wise decision, you have to ask for a manager because they will make the wise decision for
Yes,
you.
as for a manager, and I would also say subscribe to our channel.
No, subscribe, yes. And if you subscribe to our channel, don't demand for a manager because you won't get the manager because we are no managers. We are CEOs.
Well, I am my own manager. So.
No, we are CEO.
CEO of my phone line,
Yes.
of my headset.
Yes, we are our own bosses, so we are no managers. We are just public figures with a beard. I have to shave.
A little bit of a beard.
I have to shave. Yeah.
I overslept this morning, so I actually had to run. I was sitting in my pajamas.
Well, I will actually go to a barber tomorrow. That's something that's really good from the United States, the barbershops. Which also didn't fully originate from the United States, but okay. But
that's something for another day.
That's something for another day. You Americans, make a wise decision, which I really hope you do. Stop demanding for a fucking manager. Become a little bit of Europe in your country, even when Europe does have a lot of bad things. Because Europe is bad as well. We are just as fucked up as the United States. By government, we are. But at least our other systems are working better.
Work well.
So like our underground public transport and all that kind of shit. So in that case, I will say, have your evening. Or if you want to say, good morning.
Good morning, and make America great again.
Yeah, great. Goodbye. Yay. Go Trump. Goodbye, Trump.